I stared at my phone, my stomach growling louder than my dignity would allow. The delivery app confirmed my order. Fried chicken and teppanyaki would arrive in 10 minutes. Perfect. I'd been working on client designs for 12 hours straight, and my body was screaming for food and sleep. The doorbell rang exactly 9 minutes later. Finally, I muttered, padding to the door in my oversized hoodie and shorts. I didn't bother checking the peephole. Big mistake. I swung the door open, and my brain short-circuited. 4 men stood in my doorway. Not delivery guys. 4 absolutely gorgeous, tall, broad-shouldered men who looked like they'd walked straight out of a manhwa panel. "Park miho." The one in front spoke, his voice deep and commanding. He wore an expensive black suit that hugged his frame perfectly, his sharp jawline and piercing eyes making my mouth go dry. "Why yes." My voice came out smaller than intended. His nostrils flared slightly, and something dark flashed in his eyes. "We received an emergency call. An Omega in distress." My heart stopped. "What? I didn't." "You're sent," another one interrupted, stepping forward. This one was devastatingly handsome in a different way, softer features, styled hair, and a smile that probably melted hearts professionally. "You're going into preheat." Panic seized my chest. Not now. I'd been on suppressants for months. "There must be a mistake," I said, trying to close the door, but my legs suddenly felt weak. Heat bloomed under my skin, confirming what I'd been denying all day. The fatigue, the irritability, the sensitivity, shit. "Let us help you." A third man spoke, this one wearing scrubs under a jacket, his wire-rimmed glasses giving him an intelligent, trustworthy look. "I'm a doctor. You shouldn't go through this alone." "I don't even know you." My protest died as a wave of heat crashed through me, making me stumble. Strong arms caught me. I looked up into dark, intense eyes belonging to the fourth man, rougher than the others, with a scar on his cheekbone and an aura of danger that should have scared me but instead made my Omega instincts purr. Inside. Now. The suited one, clearly their leader, made the decision, and suddenly I was being carried into my own apartment by the scarred man while the others filed in behind us. "Wait, you can't just..." Another wave hit me, stronger this time, and I whimpered. The sound made all 4 of them freeze, their eyes darkening with unmistakable hunger. "Fuck," the actor-looking one breathed. "That's sent." "Focus, Hyunwoo." The leader's voice cracked like a whip. He turned to me, and despite the obvious struggle in his expression, his tone remained controlled. "I'm Kang Jaewon. This is Lee Hyunwoo, Choi Min-sik, and Young Taehyun. We're part of an Alpha emergency response network. Someone called about an Omega in apartment 438. "This is 483, I gasped out, the numbers swimming in my vision. "My neighbor, she's been trying to set me up. Oh God, she actually called." "Pranked into our arms," Hyunwoo said with a laugh that sounded strained. "I'd thank her, but right now, we need to make a decision." Min-sik knelt beside where Taehyun had placed me on the couch. His hand pressed against my forehead, professional despite the tremor in his fingers. "Your heat is accelerating. Triggered by Alpha presence. Do you have a pack? A mate?" "No," I admitted, and 4 different growls filled my apartment. "Then you have 2 choices," Jaewon said, loosening his tie like it was strangling him. "We leave and you suffer through this alone. Or we stay," Taehyun finished, his rough voice making me shiver. His hand was still on my waist, possessive and warm. I should have said no. Should have kicked them out. Should have done anything except what I did next. "Stay," I whispered. The word hung in the air for a heartbeat. Then everything shifted. Jaewon moved first, dropping to one knee beside the couch, his hand cupping my face with surprising gentleness. "Are you sure? Once we start. Please." I didn't recognize my own voice, needy and desperate. "It hurts." Hyunwoo's breath hitched. "Well, when you beg like that." Min-sik removed his glasses with shaking hands. "We'll take care of you. I promise." Taehyun's grip tightened on my waist. "All of us." I should have questioned what that meant. Should have wondered why 4 alphas would share. Should have thought about tomorrow. But then Jaewon's lips met mine, commanding and hungry, and all thoughts scattered. His kiss was possessive, demanding surrender. When he pulled back, Hyunwoo was there, his kiss playful but no less intense, making me gasp into his mouth. Beautiful, Min-sik murmured before his gentler kiss made my heart stutter. Taehyun turned my face to his kiss rough and claiming, tasting like danger and dark promises. For different kisses. For different flavors of desire. For alphas who looked at me like I was their entire world. My heat crashed over me fully, and I stopped thinking altogether. Stopped questioning. Stopped resisting. That night, I learned what it meant to be worshipped by 4 alphas who moved together like they'd done this before, each knowing exactly when to push, when to soothe, when to claim. When I finally collapsed in a tangle of limbs and silk sheets I didn't remember anyone producing, their mixed scents wrapped around me like a cocoon. Just before consciousness faded, I felt 4 different hands on my skin, protective and possessive. I should have known then, this wasn't just a heat hookup. This was the beginning of something that would either complete me or destroy me. Possibly both. I woke up to sunlight streaming through my curtains and an empty bed. For a moment, I thought I dreamed it. But then I moved, and every muscle in my body screamed in protest. My neck throbbed where teeth had marked me, temporary heat bites that would fade, thank God. My sheets smelled like 4 different colognes mixed with something primal that made my omega purr with satisfaction. It was all real. Oh God, I groaned, burying my face in the pillow. What had I done? I'd let 4 complete strangers, 4 alphas, spend my heat with me. Together. At the same time. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. I reached for it, wincing, and found a glass of water and pain medication waiting there, along with a note written in sharp, elegant handwriting. For the soreness. You were perfect. KJ. My heart did a stupid flutter. Beneath it were 4 business cards, arranged in a neat row. Kang Jiwon, So, Kang Industries. Lee Hyunwoo, actor, Starlight Entertainment. Dr. Choi Min-sik, attending physician, Seoul Medical Center. Young Taehyun, private security. Each card had a phone number written on the back in different handwriting. Jiwon's note continued on the back of his card. We'll be back. Don't even think about running. Possessive bastard. I should have thrown the cards away. Should have blocked their numbers preemptively. Should have moved apartments. Instead, I found myself tracing Jiwon's sharp signature, remembering how those hands had felt on my skin. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Unknown. Good morning, beautiful. Drink the water. Doctor's orders. Before I could respond, another text came through. Unknown. I hope you're not too sore. Though I'd be lying if I said I wasn't proud of those marks. Hyunwoo. Then another. Unknown, eat something. Your fridge is pathetic. I'm sending food. Jiwon. And finally. Unknown. There's a guy watching your building. Taken care of. You're safe. Hyun. I stared at my phone in disbelief. They were, what? Checking on me? Acting like last night meant something beyond heat-induced insanity? My doorbell rang, making me jump. I threw on a robe and peered through the peephole to find a delivery person holding multiple bags of food. Delivery for Park Miho, she said cheerfully when I cracked the door open. Prepaid. The gentleman said to make sure you ate everything. I ate the bags, dazed. Inside was enough food for a week, all my favorites, which they shouldn't have known. Except Min-sik had asked me questions during the heat, gentle conversations between everything else. He'd been listening. My phone rang. Jiwon's number. My finger hovered over the decline button. Instead, I answered. You didn't have to do this, I said. Good morning to you too. His voice was smooth, amused. Did you take the medicine? Yes, Dad. He chuckled, the sound doing things to my insides. Careful, Miho. I'm not opposed to role-playing, but let's save that for when you can walk properly. Heat flooded my face. I can walk fine. Lie. Taehyun said he might have been too rough. I'm not discussing this. I cut him off, mortified. We need to talk. All of us. Tonight. My stomach dropped. Look, last night was... I appreciate the help, but nothing. His voice turned firm. You felt it too. Don't pretend you didn't. I had felt it. Something that shouldn't have been possible with strangers. The pull, a connection, like invisible threads tying us together. It was just heat compatibility, I said weakly. Is that why you're still holding my business card? I looked down. He was right. Damn him. I'll send a car at 7, Jaiwan continued. Wear something nice. Hyun was making reservations. I haven't agreed. See you tonight, Miho. He hung up. I stared at my phone in outrage. Arrogant, controlling, presumptuous. Another text came through, this time from Hyunwoo with a picture attached. My breath caught. It was a photo of all 4 of them from last night, clearly taken right before they left. Jaiwan looked composed as always, Hyunwoo was grinning, Min-sik smiled softly, and Taehyun stood in the back, intense gaze fixed on something off camera. On me, I realized. He'd been looking at me. Hyunwoo, couldn't leave without a souvenir. You were sleeping so peacefully we didn't want to wake you. Tonight, I want to see you in that blue dress in your closet. The one you've never worn. How did he know about that dress? Min-sik, please come tonight. We need to explain some things. And I need to see that you're healing properly. Taehyun, your choice. But if you don't show, I'm coming to get you. For alphas. For very different approaches. For reasons I should run. But my Omega instincts were screaming at me to go, to see them again, to figure out why my body still craved their sense even though my heat had broken. I looked at the business cards again. At the food they'd sent. At the care they'd shown even after getting what they wanted. This is insane, I muttered. At 6:30 p.m., I found myself standing in front of my closet, staring at the blue dress I'd bought on impulse and never had the courage to wear. At 6:55, I was sliding into the back of a black car, the driver nodding respectfully as if chauffeuring Omegas to meet 4 alphas was perfectly normal. At 7 o'clock exactly, I walked into the most exclusive restaurant in Seoul, and 4 pairs of eyes locked onto me with such intensity that everyone else in the room seemed to disappear. Jaiwan stood first, devastating in a dark suit. You came. Did I have a choice? I asked, trying to sound annoyed. Hyunwoo's grin was pure sin. That dress is even better than I imagined. Min-sik pulled out my chair. You look beautiful. Taehyun didn't speak, just watched me with those dark eyes that promised protection and possession in equal measure. I sat down, my heart racing. So, I said, trying to sound calm. Explain. Jaiwan leaned forward, his expression serious. Last night wasn't just heat compatibility, Miho. You triggered something in all 4 of us. Something that shouldn't be possible. What? Min-sik adjusted his glasses. A resonance bond. Extremely rare. It means you're ours, Taehyun interrupted. And we're not letting you go. Yours. I repeated, my voice climbing an octave. I don't belong to anyone. Several heads turned in the restaurant. Jaiwan's eyes narrowed, and suddenly a waiter appeared, smoothly guiding us to a private room I hadn't noticed before. Soundproof, I realized as the door clicked shut. Let me rephrase, Jaiwan said once we were alone. We belong to each other. All 5 of us. I laughed, the sound slightly hysterical. You can't be serious. 5 people don't just, that's not how bonds work. Usually no. Min-sik pulled out a tablet, ever the professional. But there are documented cases. A resonance bond occurs when multiple alphas and an omega share perfect biological compatibility. The odds are astronomical. 1 in 10 million, Hyunwoo interjected, his usual playfulness subdued. We've been friends since childhood. The 4 of us. We never thought we'd find someone who could complete us, Taehyun finished, his rough voice soft. I looked between them, my heart hammering. This is crazy. I don't even know you. Then let us fix that. Jaiwan leaned forward, his intensity pinning me in place. I'm 32. I built my company from nothing after my father tried to force me into a bond one didn't want. I haven't touched another Omega in 3 years because no one felt right. Until you. Hyunwoo went next, his smile self-deprecating. I'm 30. Korea's most eligible bachelor, apparently, though that's mostly PR bullshit. I've dated dozens of Omegas for the cameras. Never felt anything real. Never wanted to. His eyes met mine. I wanted to stay that night. Watch you sleep. That's never happened before. Min-sik adjusted his glasses, a nervous tell. 29. I became a doctor because I lost my Omega sister to a heat-related complication. I swore I'd never bond, never risk that pain. But when I scented you, he swallowed hard. Every instinct I have says protect you, keep you, heal you. Taehyun was quiet for a long moment, his scarred knuckles flexing. 31. I fight for money, not legal fights. I've done things I'm not proud of. I don't deserve someone like you. His dark eyes burned into mine. But I'll kill anyone who tries to take you from us. The possessiveness in his tone should have scared me. Instead, heat pooled low in my belly. My turn, I asked, voice shaking. I'm 28. I design graphics for a living. I've been on suppressants since I presented because I watched my mother lose herself in a bad bond. I swore I'd never let biology control me. I met each of their gazes. And now you're telling me I'm bonded to 4 alphas I spent one night with? Not bonded yet, Min-sik corrected gently. Resonance is the first stage. Think of it as compatibility recognition. The actual bond requires choice, commitment, and sex, Hyun-woo added with a smirk. Lots of sex. Jaewon shot him a look. What he means is that bonding requires intentional marking during heightened intimacy. What happened during your heat created resonance, but not permanent bonds. So I can still walk away. Relief and disappointment warred in my chest. Technically, Min-sik said carefully. But the resonance will make separation difficult. You'll crave our sense. We'll need to be near you. It fades after a few months if not reinforced. A few months of torture, Taehyun growled. Fuck that. Which is why we're asking you to give us a chance. Jaewon's hand covered mine on the table, his touch electric. Date us. All of us. Get to know us. Then decide. I stared at our joined hands. People will talk. Your careers. I don't care, Hyun-woo said firmly. Let them talk. My reputation can handle it, Jaewon added. I'm a doctor, not a celebrity, Min-sik shrugged. Anyone says shit, I'll break their jaw, Taehyun stated matter-of-factly. A laugh bubbled up despite everything. You're all insane. Probably, Hyun-woo agreed, grinning. But we're your kind of insane. Dinner arrived then, course after course of dishes I loved, each alpha having apparently contributed to the menu selection. They'd paid attention to every casual comment I'd made during my heat. As we ate they told stories. How Jaewon and Taehyun met in juvie as teenagers. Jaewon for hacking his father's company, Taehyun for protecting his younger siblings from an abusive alpha. How Min-sik tutored them both and kept them out of trouble. How Hyun-woo transferred to their school and completed their pack. We've been brothers for 15 years, Jaewon said quietly. We swore we'd never let anyone come between us. Until you, Hyun-woo reached across the table, his fingers brushing my wrist. We never thought we'd find someone who fit with all of us. What if I don't? I whispered. What if this ruins your friendship? It won't. Taehyun's certainty was absolute. You're the missing piece. We all feel it. Min-sik pulled out his phone, showing me graphs and charts. Your hormone levels are alpha responses, the data doesn't lie. This kind of compatibility is. Nerding out isn't sexy, Doc, Hyun-woo teased. I find it sexy, I said without thinking. For pairs of eyes went dark with hunger. Careful, Miho, Jaewon's voice dropped an octave. We're barely controlling ourselves as it is. The dress isn't helping, Hyun-woo muttered. Nothing's helping, Taehyun agreed roughly. Min-sik stood abruptly. I need air. The tension was suffocating, delicious, terrifying. I could feel their want like a physical touch, and my body responded traitorously. I should go, I said, standing on shaky legs. Let me drive you, Jaewon offered. I'll ride along, Hyun-woo added quickly. I should check your recovery, Min-sik started. I'm coming too, Taehyun finished. I laughed helplessly. So all of you? Get used to it, Jaewon said, not apologizing. We're a package deal. In the car, Jaewon's private town car with privacy glass, they surrounded me. Not touching, but close enough that their scents wrapped around me like silk. 1 month, I heard myself say. Give me 1 month to figure this out. Done, Jaewon agreed immediately. But rules, I continued, my mind racing. No public claims. No bonding marks. And I'm still sleeping alone. The last part was met with groans. The sleeping alone thing is negotiable, right? Hyunwoo asked hopefully. Non-negotiable, I said firmly, even as my omega whined in protest. 1 month, Jaiwon repeated, his hand finding mine in the dark. And then you're ours. Not a question. A promise. I should have been terrified. Instead, I couldn't wait. They weren't subtle. On Monday morning, a black car waited outside my apartment. Jaiwon's driver handed me an iced Americano, made exactly how I liked it, and a note. Thought about you all weekend. Dinner tonight? Wait. I texted back, I have work. His response was immediate, I'll pick you up at 7. Wear something comfortable. Bossy bastard. I showed up in jeans and a sweater just to spite him. He took me to a private art gallery showing my favorite contemporary artist, whose work I'd mentioned once while delirious with heat. Jaiwon stood behind me as I stared at a painting, his breath warm against my ear. You see the pain in it, he murmured. The way the colors bleed together. That's what drew me to you, Miho. You see beneath surfaces. His hand rested on my lower back, possessive and gentle. When I leaned back slightly, I felt his sharp intake of breath. Careful, he warned softly. We're in public. So, I challenged, emboldened by the wine and his obvious restraint. His eyes darkened. So I'm trying to be a gentleman. But if you keep looking at me like that... He didn't finish. He didn't need to. Tuesday, Hyunwoo showed up at my workplace during lunch, causing a commotion that had my coworkers losing their minds. He ignored everyone else, walking straight to my desk with a takeout bag. Lunch date, he announced, that devastating smile in place. I didn't agree. You need to eat. I need to see you. Win-win. He perched on my desk, completely comfortable with a dozen phones recording him. Plus, I'm announcing my next drama tomorrow. Wanted you to hear it first. Why would I care about? It's a GL story. Very queer positive. My agency said it was career suicide. His expression turned serious. But I'm done hiding who I am. What I want. His hand covered mine. Who I want. My heart stuttered. Hyunwoo. Let them talk, he said firmly. I'm not ashamed of courting you. He left me speechless, sitting at my desk with my coworkers whispering excitedly. My phone exploded with messages, but I only cared about one. Hyunwoo, you're beautiful when you're flustered. Can't wait to see what other expressions I can cause. Winky face. Wednesday, I came home to find my apartment had been upgraded. New locks, a security system, reinforced windows. What the hell? I called Taehyun immediately. Safety, he answered, unbothered. Your building's security is shit. You can't just break into my apartment and... Didn't break in. Landlord let me in. The pause. After I convinced him. Convinced or threatened? Does it matter? His voice dropped. You're safe now. That matters. I should have been angry. Instead, I felt cherished. Protected. Taehyun, I said softly. Thank you. Silence. Then, say my name again. The rough command made my knees weak. Taehyun. Fuck. His breath was ragged. I'm coming over. No, you're not. But he'd already hung up. 20 minutes later, he was at my door, looking dangerous and desperate. We stared at each other, tension crackling. Just wanted to see you, he said finally. Make sure the system works. He showed me how everything functioned, his body close, his scent overwhelming. When his hand brushed mine reaching for the control panel, we both froze. Miho, he breathed. This is a bad idea, I whispered. The worst, he agreed, but he was leaning closer. We agreed no bonding. Not bonding. Just kissing. His lips met mine, rough and demanding, and I melted into him. Different from the heat-hazed memories. This was conscious, deliberate, devastating. When he pulled back, we were both breathing hard. 1 month is too long, he growled. 3 more weeks, I corrected shakily. He left before we did something stupid, but the apartment felt empty without him. Thursday, I woke up feeling off. Feverish. Achy. My phone rang. Minsik. How are you feeling? He asked without preamble. How did you? Resonance bond. I can sense your discomfort. Professional concern laced his tone. I'm coming to check on you. I'm fine. Miho. From now, let me take care of you. He arrived with a medical bag and groceries, immediately taking my temperature and asking detailed questions. His touch was clinical but gentle, and I found myself relaxing under his capable hands. Just a minor reaction to the resonance, he diagnosed. Your body's adjusting to 4 alpha signatures. I'll make you something to help. He cooked actual homemade soup and tea while explaining the science of multi-alpha bonds. His voice was soothing, his presence calming. Why a doctor? I asked as he fed me soup despite my protests. His smile turned sad. My sister, Yuna. She was an omega. Beautiful, kind, so full of life. He swallowed hard. She bonded young to an alpha who seemed perfect. But during her first heat after bonding, something went wrong. He panicked, left her alone. By the time we found her, Minsik, I breathed, reaching for his hand. I couldn't save her. His eyes met mine, raw with old pain. But I can save others. I can save you. I'm not her, I said gently. I know. He squeezed my hand. You're stronger, fiercer. But that doesn't mean you don't need protecting. Let me protect you, Miho. Let us all protect you. He stayed until I fell asleep, his hands stroking my hair. Friday evening, all 4 of them showed up at my door. What? Group date, Hyunwoo announced cheerfully. Movie night. We brought everything. They had snacks, drinks, blankets. They took over my apartment with easy familiarity, arguing good-naturedly over movie choices. I watched them, these 4 powerful alphas who somehow fit together perfectly, and realized with creeping certainty that I was falling. Jaiwon caught me staring. What are you thinking? That I'm in trouble, I admitted. His smile was knowing. Good. So are we. We settled in to watch a movie, and somehow I ended up in the middle of them. Jaiwon on my left, Taehyun on my right, Hyunwoo sprawled at my feet, Minsik's arm along the back of the couch behind me. Surrounded. Claimed. 3 more weeks, Jaiwon murmured in my ear. Then you're ours, Hyunwoo added. Completely, Minsik agreed. Forever, Taehyun finished. I should have been terrified. But wrapped in their warmth, their sense, their certainty, I just felt home.